A mother has cried as she recalled the moment her daughter revealed she had allegedly been abused by their Buddhist temple head monk from Sri Lanka. The girl, who alleges she was abused from the age of 9, did not speak about it until she was an adult because she feared she would not be believed, her mother said. Her voice trembled as she recounted the agonizing confession, a moment forever etched into her memory. The mother explained that the revelation came years after the alleged incidents, highlighting the immense burden her daughter carried in silence. The fear of not being believed, a common barrier for victims, had kept the truth hidden for far too long, causing immeasurable pain for both mother and daughter. She said Vijita Sadhu touched my body and kissed my lips. She had never been kissed, she told Victoria's County Court between tears. The raw emotion in her voice was palpable as she delivered these devastating words to the court. I was so shocked to hear that because I trust him so much. I'm just so shocked to hear that because I trust him so much. The trust placed in a spiritual leader, a figure of respect within their community, had been shattered. This emotional recounting underscored the deep personal impact of the alleged abuse, not just on the victim, but on her entire family and their faith. The mother's tears were a testament to the years of unspoken suffering and the harrowing process of confronting such a painful truth in a public forum. Venerable Nailtun Vijita, 70, has been accused of 19 child sexual offenses dating back to the mid-1990s. The chief monk of Dhammasarana Temple in Kaisborough, in Melbourne, Southeast, has denied all offending and is facing the second week of a jury trial. The gravity of the charges against a respected religious figure has sent shockwaves through the community. The sheer number of alleged offenses, spanning nearly a decade, points to a disturbing pattern of behavior. The trial, now in its second week, is meticulously sifting through evidence and testimonies, attempting to uncover the truth behind these deeply troubling allegations. The community watches with bated breath, grappling with the implications of such accusations against someone they once revered. The denial of all charges by the Venerable only intensifies the legal battle, pitting personal accounts against a steadfast refusal to admit wrongdoing. He is accused of sexually abusing 6 children aged from 4 to 12 at the Kaisborough Temple and the previous Springvale site between 1994 and 2002 inside his living quarters, a prayer room, and at Sunday school, the jury has been told. The locations of the alleged abuses within the sanctity of the temple grounds, including his personal residence, a prayer room, and even Sunday school, further compound the shock and horror. These were places where children were meant to feel safe, to learn, and to grow within their faith. The detailed accounts presented to the jury paint a grim picture of systematic exploitation, allegedoy, occurring over an extended period and involving multiple young victims. The age range of the children, from just 4 years old to early teens, highlights their extreme vulnerability at the time of the alleged offenses. The ongoing trial seeks to bring justice to these individuals who, as children, were allegedly subjected to such traumatic experiences within an environment that should have offered protection and spiritual guidance. Family members of the 6 alleged victims, who are now all adults, gave evidence to the trial on Thursday, including 2 mothers and husbands, none of whom can be legally identified. Their collective testimonies formed a powerful and heart-wrenching part of the court proceedings. The passage of time has not diminished the impact of the alleged events, as these now adult victims and their families bravely came forward to share their stories. The mother of another girl said her daughter used scissors to cut up a dress she was wearing when she was allegedly abused twice at the Kaisborough Temple when aged 8 or 9. This poignant detail, the act of defiling the very clothing worn during the alleged trauma, speaks volumes about the lasting psychological scars and the visceral need to erase the memory of the event. It underscores the profound distress and the desperate attempts of a child to cope with unimaginable experiences. The testimonies of these family members are crucial in providing a fuller picture of the alleged abuses and their long-term consequences. The girl told her mother as an adult in 2022 after speaking to police. The revelation, decades after the alleged incidents, highlights the complex and often delayed journey survivors undertake to disclose abuse. She said she was busy in the temple's kitchen with her husband preparing food for a celebration in Kaisbro when it exclaimed. Vijita took the girl to his room and abused her. The mother recounted how, amidst a bustling and communal activity, the alleged abuser exploited an opportune moment, isolating the child from her parents. This detail paints a vivid picture of the environment in which the alleged abuses occurred, seemingly benign settings masking a darker reality. The mother's shock was undoubtedly compounded by the normalcy of the situation, a stark contrast to the heinous act her daughter would later reveal. The delayed disclosure, prompted by an interaction with law enforcement, underscores the long-lasting fear and trauma that prevented the girl from speaking out sooner, carrying the secret into adulthood. I cannot recall how long it was, but she was missing for a while, the mother told the court. The vague memory of time, a common element in traumatic recollections, only added to the mother's distress as she tried to piece together the events. She said her daughter came back and told her Vijita was offering her lollies, but she did not want to go back with him. The child's reluctance, disguised under the guise of disinterest in sweets, was a subtle but clear sign of her unease and fear, a plea that went unheeded at the time. This detail highlights the insidious nature of such alleged abuse, often cloaked in seemingly innocuous gestures like offering treats, which can be easily dismissed by unsuspecting adults. The mother's testimony powerfully conveyed the regret and anguish of not recognizing the warning signs when her daughter was a vulnerable child. The mother said Vijita then approached her and insisted her daughter go with him as he had a toy for her. The monk's persistence, leveraging his position of authority and trust, further manipulated the situation. The girl returned to Vijita's room where it alleged she was sexually abused again, and he gave her an elephant key tag before she left. The offering of a gift, a seemingly innocent token, after such a harrowing experience, reveals a chilling pattern of manipulation and an attempt to silence the child. The key tag, meant as a keepsake, instead became a symbol of trauma for the young girl. These details, meticulously recounted in court, paint a disturbing picture of how a trusted figure allegedly exploited a child's innocence, and a parent's trust, using both subtle persuasion and perceived authority to commit these horrific acts. The mother's testimony brought to light the sophisticated tactics allegedly employed by the accused. She said, quick, I want to go home," the mother said. The urgency in the child's voice, her desperate plea to leave the temple, was a clear and unambiguous signal of her distress. Her daughter threw the key tag at their car as they left the temple and said, "I didn't like it at all," the woman told the jury. The powerful act of discarding the seemingly innocuous gift, coupled with her emphatic statement, served as a raw and unfiltered expression of her revulsion and trauma. It was a child's way of rejecting the horror she had just endured, a physical manifestation of her deep emotional pain. This moment, captured in the mother's memory, stands as a stark and tragic indicator that something deeply wrong had transpired within the temple walls, shattering the innocence of a young girl and leaving an indelible mark on her family. Vijita and a second monk lived at the temple full-time, and visiting monks from Sri Lanka would sometimes stay there, several witnesses said on Thursday. The constant presence of the accused within the temple compound provided ample opportunity for the alleged offenses to occur, highlighting the unsupervised environment that children were exposed to. The trial before Judge Pardeep Tawana continues. APP.